patience is a virtue. And we all know this, right? We've all heard of this, right? We've heard this saying time and time again: patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. You have to learn to be patient. You have to learn to be patient. And some of us don't even know like what patience actually is. We all are our main thought, right, is like, the example of just waiting in a line, waiting in a long Starbucks line to get your $10 coffee. And that's going to make you late to work. Oh, I have to be patient. I have to be patient to waste my money. I'm going to be sitting in this long line. Let me be patient. Of course, that's an example, but that's what everybody thinks what patience is, right? But patience isn't only that, but it's also your own ability to withstand and to not be upset at situations that aren't in your control, right? Because a lot of times we allow ourselves to be consumed by what we don't have control over, and that can ruin our day, that can ruin our week. We can let that ruin our year even. Why are we letting something that, like, an example, just like some celebrity did, some $1 million, $1 billion celebrity did, why are we letting that accept us and ruin our day, right? And then when things go wrong in our own lives and under our own control, we blame everything else. We blame somebody else. We blame the dog next door. We blame our grandmother. We blame our own children or something like that, right? For the downfall of our own lives, right? So we have to be able to take accountability of ourselves and express patience within ourselves, so that way we can be better adapted to situations that are no longer in our control, or situations that were not in our control in the first place, right? And when it comes to patience as an artist, or just doing art, or being a creative in general, right? You have to learn that self-patience, right? You have to be patient with yourself, right? You have to be able to know that, okay, I might not achieve the quote unquote success that I want within, 2 years of making music, right? I might not achieve this skill or this mastery of this, of whatever specific medium of creativity that you're going to focus on. I might not achieve this mastery within this amount of time, right? It takes years, it takes decades, right? You should, at the very minimum, think in your head like, okay, for me to achieve great success, 10 years at least. 10 years at least, right? And you just wait it out, right? You don't wait it out just, sitting there doing nothing. You, of course, work relentlessly every single day, right? And then, of course, that stuff can get tedious, right? Having to sit down and, like, do all that hard work and everything like that. And again, like, now you're, like, getting antsy. You're like, I want to do something else. I want to do this. You're getting impatient. That is being impatient. And like I said, you're getting impatient with your own self, and you can't even sit down and have your own thoughts and have your own actions and then just focus, right? You don't even have enough focus and enough attention to be patient with yourself, right? So that's why many artists, many creatives, many people who aspire to achieve success through creativity, they don't achieve that success through creativity because they can't sit down and they can't just work on something for hours at a time, right? Even whether they do that intentionally or whether they do it purposely, they just can't do it because they're so distracted by everything else, right? We have been kind of, in a way, poisoned within our mind with what is junk food, right? Of like the modern cellular devices, right? And we have TikTok, we have YouTube Shorts, we have Instagram Reels, all of these short form content that take away so much of our attention. And when we go online, even we see the success of others, right? We see the success of others, especially others who are within our age group, and we see that, oh my gosh, they've gotten all this money and all this fame, and whatever the case may be, and they're the same age as me, or they're younger than me, or they're a little older than me, and look at where I am, right? And then you're gonna try and get into what they're getting into, right? For fame, for the sake of power, for the sake of wealth, right? For the sake of feeling important, right? Instead of feeling fulfilled, right? We seek importance over fulfillment because we all want to be noticed, we all want to be seen, we all want to be heard within our lifetime, right? And that, a lot of the times, that comes from a disingenuine place, right? To where we instead focus on the more superficial stuff, right? And so you kind of have people okay, I'm gonna get rich in 3 years and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work relentlessly toward this, right? 3 years in the grand scheme of things is a short amount of time right now. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's almost as if you're kind of buying into a get rich quick scheme by just being like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this and I'm gonna get super rich at this in 3 years. And then what happens when those 3 years pass and you're not where you want to be, right? And then again, that's where patience comes back in, right? You have to wait, right? Like, and then what's gonna make it better, what's gonna make you be able to withstand the long amount of time, right, is to do something that you will love and that you will enjoy. A lot of people create stuff out of fear because, or at least out of fear or out of tension because, I gotta get rich by the time I'm 22. I gotta get noticed for all these things by the time I'm 25. I gotta do this by the time I'm 30. So let me do this, this, and this relentlessly every day. And sure, you're working hard, you're grinding, you're putting in the hours, you're putting in the work, you're getting the experience, you're learning, but you're not being able to fully express yourself. And then now you're under so much tension that it doesn't even seem fun anymore. And then let's say you do get to that point in life that you are working towards. How will it feel now? Because you were working for a specific superficial goal. You weren't working for your own self-fulfillment. You weren't working for your own satisfaction within how life is, the energy that life is giving you and the energy that you're putting back into life, right? You're just working towards a number, or you're working towards some type of recognition, right? You're working towards some type of metric that you're gonna use to put value on yourself, right? Instead of sitting and waiting and just putting in the work every single day, keeping your head down, just doing the work as much as possible, as long as possible, and loving the work, actually loving the work that you do. And then, it's gonna be more of like as if all of a sudden all of the things that you wish for are gonna come in instead of you trying to work towards that goal specifically, right? Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with getting specific. When you're getting specific, you can kind of see the pathways there, but just also make sure you're not basically torturing yourself. You're not sitting here being like, like giving yourself a freaking aneurysm, being like, I need to make 10K a month or I'll die. I'll die if I don't make 10K a month. I die. Oh, right? Or when we don't make it, like let's say you set 3 years to make 10K a month. You don't make 10K a month. And then you're like literally on the verge of wanting to like end your life or something like that, right? Because you're so hard on yourself, right? And again, that all comes down to patience. Patience is a virtue. And it's a virtue because it allows us to basically to be able to put up and withstand our own selves and our own progression, right? Because again, we compare ourselves to people so much, right? That we're willing to give up our own identity, that we're willing to give up who we are, that we're willing to give up our own passions and our own beliefs, purely to strive for the goals of people that we are comparing ourselves to, right? Because, that's working for them, so it must work for me. And then we're set with a crushing realization that like, this is not what I want to do. This is not for me. Or in that maybe that you don't even have the actual work ethic to sit down and put your nose to the grindstone, right? Now you're getting all these things revealed to you. But again, since you don't have any self-patience, you don't have the ability to hold out for a while, you're going to give up a short time after, right? You're going to give up before you even see any results, right? And you're going to try and go to something else. But since you didn't improve from last time, you're going to go through the same cycle over and over again because you're impatient, right? Because you want success so quickly. But since you're not getting it, you decide to give up and think like, okay, this must not work. This thing right here must not work. Maybe it just doesn't work for me. And you're making a million and one excuses as to why something doesn't work out because you're not able to just sit and wait, right? You're not able to just sit and wait, right? In my last video, right, of the charcoal drawing, like that needed to take patience, right? Because I can't just sit there and work on it for 30 minutes and then be like, okay, it's about half done, right? No. After the 30 minutes, it was like, oh my gosh, it looked like I didn't even get anything done. But I just kept going. An hour went by. Okay, this is looking nice. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, all the way up to about 9 hours, right? That's when I finished it. 9 hours is when I finished it, right? And there's so many times in that where I was thinking like, oh man, maybe it's done. You know, maybe I finished it. Maybe I don't have to work on this anymore. Maybe it's about done. You know, let me see what I think. Let me come back to it. And I come back to it and there's still more work to be done, right? There's always more work to be done. You don't just get to a point to where you stop. You go, you stop, and that's it, right? There's always more to be done, especially for people who are artists, people who are creative, right? There's always something you can do. There's always a next step to your evolution, right? And you have to be patient to get to those points, right? We try and rush through our own evolution. We try and rush through our own progress, and then we make all these mistakes, and we make, we have to make all these adjustments, and we wonder why we're not making any progress because we're being impatient, right? We're not willing to just sit there and just meticulously go through everything and then take a step back, look at the whole big picture, and then go right back into all the little details and just do that for years and years and years and years, right? We don't let things compound, right? We almost kind of want the front door just to open for us, right? Without, trying to, build the house first or something. But yeah, that's about all I have to say, guys. Patience is a virtue. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos, stuff like that. Check out my Instagram. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.